In this lesson, we're going to talk about ES6 Arrow Functions. So arrow functions in ES6 are simply a shorthand way of writing traditional JavaScript functions. And they're definitely one of those things that have become very popular with modern JavaScript code, to the point where you'll very rarely see the traditional function syntax being used unless it's in older code. So you define an ES6 arrow function with opening and closing brackets, followed by an equals and then greater than sign. You then use the traditional curly braces to denote what content should be inside of that particular function. And then you can write any valid JavaScript code in there, including returning a response from the function. So let's convert this example getRandomNumber function from an old ES5 syntax into the new ES6 arrow syntax. So the first thing I'll do is remove the function keyword, and then we'll put the equals and greater than sign. And that's all we really need to do to convert an old ES5 function into a new ES6 arrow function. Of course, if we have multiple parameters, we can add them into the brackets when we define the function, but if we only have one parameter to the function, we can actually remove those brackets completely, making the arrow function even shorter to write. And one final thing that you can do with arrow functions, if you have a short function that just returns a value that fits on one line of code, for example, you can make your arrow function even shorter by removing the return keyword and also the curly braces around it. This is known as an implicit return, as you're not actually typing the return keyword, but JavaScript and ES6 will know that you actually want to return this value from the function without having to have the return and curly braces syntax. And again, this is something you'll see in a lot of modern code when you've got lots of short functions that you need to implement. A lot of developers like to use the implicit return because it makes the code a bit neater. This isn't the only changes that have been made to functions in ES6, and in the next lesson we'll look at some extended parameter handling techniques.